This you?
Was poppin'. Welcome to Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky, and Moose is out for the day, so this is about to be special. All right, people. First and foremost, how's everybody feeling? How's everybody doing? Do me a favor, share this, like this. If you're in the chat, if you're in the comments, drop where you're watching this from. We wanted to do something different today, okay? We wanted to do something different today. We wanted to bring back some of your favorite clips, but going in the direction of kind of creators turning into CEOs, right? There's a lot of if you heard the last episode, the episode that dropped today, episode 105. You know what I mean? If you heard, you could only hear the episode. But if you heard the episode, you heard the importance of how much creators can make, but then turning into a business side, right? As far as building a team and what it's needed from a business side. So it was only right when I talked to Moose, was like, yo, let's bring back some of the great clips that we have. Let's break it down for the people. Let's stay engaged with the people. So I'm be in the chat, right? I see y'all to prove that this is live, all right? Donovan is in the building. You see it. Dream in Color Publications in Dallas. Isaiah's in New York today. Shout out to Isaiah. Abby is in the building. DMV. Okay. And I'm also trying something new today, and we are also streaming on Facebook. So shout out to all the Facebook people. Shout out to all the YouTube people. We love you. But I got clips from Nick Cannon. I got clips from Issa Rae. I got clips from Tyler Perry, right? We're going to have fun in the chat. I want you to tell me which episodes they came from. What are some of the lessons? I'm going to come after each clip. I'm going to come back. I'm going to engage with you guys, see what you liked, what you didn't like. So let's just get into this first clip. You feel me?
Oh, we got ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah.
Like,
another one of those.
That's cool.
Right.
But the whole time I'm over here quiet, grinding. And then they look up and it's $1 billion brand.
Shout out to Nick Cannon, because Nick Cannon doesn't get enough props for his business, his work ethic, and what he does behind the scenes. You know, people know him for various reasons, but there's one brand that we can't, like when you say Nick Cannon, you can't say Nick Cannon without saying this brand, which is Wildin' Out. And I think it was like a year or two ago, there was some issues of that. It really wasn't his. Was it his? Like there was this big confusion. And he was recently on the Joe Budden podcast talking about Wildin' Out. And one of the things that I got out of it was just putting your head down and working and the results that it creates. So let's listen to it.
My competition was Punk'd. It was me and Ashton Kutcher. And that was the one that they held up and they embraced him. So they like, let Nick do his little thing. Yeah. We got Punk'd. Outlasted them. Then they got another guy that they got really excited about. I was like, oh, we got ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah.
Like,
they had on
another
that.
One of those. All right.
Another one of those.
That's cool.
Right.
But the whole time I'm over here quiet, grinding. And then they look up and it's $1 billion brand that has many verticals, from touring, from brick and mortar, merchandise, gaming, restaurants.
Like, using them words.
Like, so none of their other brands have done that. Still their number one digital brand to this day is Wildin' Out.
Man, yeah. What does Jay say? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And I just think anytime that numbers are a part of the conversation, everyone shuts up. whatever debate is going on about who's the best and who's not the best, the minute someone can have their numbers and their proof like that, that's phenomenal. But we can't also talk numbers without addressing the obvious, which is what he did to produce the numbers. Mm-hmm. And to your point about the work ethic, the consistency, regardless of what was happening in his life. And there have been many different reasons why we could, we even know about Nick Cannon through different other formats, right? Whether it be his personal life, his love life, his children, his this. There are other things that we know about him. But when you think about, despite of all of that, his brand or that the Wildin' Out brand is where it's at, that shows you the level of focus, consistency, discipline, drive that somebody's got to have to be able to deal with those things, but still keep something running the way it is. So that it just goes back to the intangibles. Like we saw in the beginning, it was authenticity and vulnerability. And now you're seeing some more of those traits and characteristics here that you need to infuse into yourself before you see it manifest into your brand and even the revenue of your business or what it's producing. Like you gotta really double down on you so that even if you're not getting the attention, when the conversation does come up, it's undisputable. It's like, oh, wow, I didn't know. I had no idea. But I can't ignore the fact that these numbers are present because reports, data, everything will come back and show me what I didn't know. So I can't even say anything else about that. That's incredible.
Yeah, this said my hits home, so I'm going to say it in a different way. So what I like about this was there's you see the new shiny object, right? At what he said was punked and ridiculous, right? Oh, we got punked, we got ridiculous. We're gonna put our energy to that. We're gonna put we see you, but you do whatever you want, right? Now, other people could get very discouraged, right? Like other people get very discouraged, like, I'm not getting the attention. I'm not getting the same exposure. I'm not doing, they're not giving me the same energy. But what he did was like literally put his head down and was like, I'm going in. I'm gonna build this. And then the fact that he said, yo, I got, brick and mortar. I got a digital product. I got merchandise, I got gaming, I got first off, I didn't know. Like I actually saw a Wildin' Out spot and I was like, I'm so confused. What does that even mean? Do they come there? Do they not? Like what's happening, right? But he built that to where it's like, hold up. We need a part of that. Right? You have all ownership of this? No. Hold on. We got to figure this out because you're actually still going while these other two are gone.
Gone.
Yeah. Well, I think one is still running, but
ridiculousness might be still on from time to time.
Yeah. I think that's still running, but regardless, they don't have the same amount of popularity as it used to. Wildin' Out still going strong on tour and everything. And it's like, hold on. We need a part of that somehow, some way, because what? You're on our platform, right?
Right.
So, and in that same interview, he was like, yep, so we came to an agreement that, that makes me comfortable. Right?
Like that.
Right, that makes me comfortable. And then he also spoke about, I think he did give up 50% and was like, you know what, they're going to now give the energy it needs. They're going to get and I'm okay with doing that, because now my team can chill out a little bit and let this team take it to new heights. And it brings up several things for me. One, regardless of what you may think you deserve or how much energy should be put into you, you still have to have your own base. You still have to have your own thing going on, because you're the one that has the dream. You're the one that sees the potential of it. And so, though it may not be being grown as fast as others, it's still growing because you're putting energy to it, and never to get too discouraged that it stops, right? But when they finally do see what it's worth, when people finally do recognize how dope you are, you have to put yourself in certain situations where you only get in partnerships or situations that is going to elevate what you've already done on your own. Not something that you feel like it's owed to them because you're on their platform, but you clearly see, oh snap, they're about to take me to whole new heights. This makes sense. And financially wise, it makes sense. Exposure wise, leverage wise, it all makes sense now. But that possibly couldn't have happened if he would have been like, oh, you spending more time with Punk and you're spending more time with ridiculousness. Like, it could have been just a pilot that could have failed. But he was like, nah, we gon'. And the real great thing about Wildin' Out, it was literally a platform in order to put his friends on. Let me highlight some of the other great comedians and stand-up artists, and let me put them here and show the world how dope they are. And he continues to do that. Like, we know of if we're talking about relevant stuff, like a DC Young Fly, because of Wildin' Out.
Yeah.
We know of a B Simone because of Wildin' Out. Pretty V because of Wildin' Out, you know, or plays a factor in that. And so, to come from pure intentions of let me put people on, and building it and believing it more than maybe others would, and then finally being in a position where they see what you do and want to be a part of it, and making strategic moves based off what other people can do, not because they felt like they had to or anything. I think Nick Cannon needs more flowers than he really gets, because that's that whole movement, for it to be a $1 billion brand, to have such different components of Wildin' Out, which seems just like a really dope comedic show, to, oh no, we're touring. No, we got merchandise. We got this. We got that. We got, like, it's very inspiring. It's very inspiring. And it shows a lot of what putting your head down and working does. I mean,
yeah, that's major. Yeah, the fact that he's accomplished all of those things simultaneously, diversified a brand, built the brand, put his people on, made a name for himself. It's like there's so many things that have happened under that one roof, which it just shows that we can always do more with an opportunity.
right.
It's just once an opportunity is, whatever's in our hands, we can always do more with it. That's a perfect example. A guy took something that could be any stand-up tour. I don't know of any stand-up tours that have made $1 billion, but the fact that he can get that valuation out of it, that's incredible.
Big facts. Yes, sir and ma'am. Give you some after show vibes. I normally only say that. So, what did you think? I asked the question in the chat on YouTube of, do we think that Nick Cannon really gets the props that he deserves? I think, and shout out to Isaiah, who brought up the obvious. I think, of course, we get caught up in some of his personal plays, whether it's with the divorce, whether it's with the multiple kids, and we get caught up in that. But from business-wise, we can't knock what Nick Cannon has done, right? I think we look at him too much for the personal or what we may think of his personality, but he's making a lot of business moves that we just have to put respect on his name. And that's just my opinion, but you let me know in the chat, in the comments, what you think about it. But next up is going to be, can creators be really good CEOs and vice versa? Pulled a clip from Issa Rae, and we had to talk about it. So let's get to it.
I don't think that it's possible to be a CEO, a great CEO and a great creative. I'm just gonna say that. I think that you need help, and you need to, that balance that you achieve is in the people that you trust.
Fire interview that I saw from United Masters Select Con with Issa Rae. And the conversation of, what's the balance between creator and CEO? What is the balance? For her, she's made millions, has shows, has coffee shops, all this, she's amazing. But how do you do both? And I was locked in. And so let's talk about it.
How do you balance being a creative and a CEO?
I hire well. That's how I balance it, honestly. And I trust who I hire. I don't think that it's possible to be a CEO, a great CEO and a great creative. I'm just gonna say that. I think that you need help, and you need to, that balance that you achieve is in the people that you trust. Because I realize, for me, I have to be able to focus on one to be great, and both are full-time jobs. I have looked up in 1 year and realized, oh my gosh, I've only done business and I have not created anything new, and that makes me feel bad.
Yeah, I love both of the answers, right? It's almost like a two-parted answer. Hire well and trust those who you hire. So we've covered the hire piece. We've talked about it. It's a nice reminder, though, that you're not the only one who's trying to do something great. So there are people out there who, if you have the vision, they would love to be a part of it and contribute to something great, because not everyone can build something great, but everyone wants to be a part of something great. And that is an absolute fact, right? People, as they mature, as they get older, they put some experience under their belt, they start to recognize, and they don't necessarily feel so bad, or they don't look at it as, an insecurity or a weakness because I'm not the builder. It's like, well, maybe you're not the builder, but you're a phenomenal painter. And that's a wonderful finishing touch to the building nonetheless. So you're a part of the building, but you didn't build the building. That's okay. Who cares? You didn't lay the first brick. Well, you put the finishing touch, and I think that's a wonderful work. Trusting the people you hire, though, that is something that I don't think enough people talk about. Because we even on the call that we had the other day, where I was talking about, man, when you ice your best players for whatever reason, right, that makes your people think that you don't trust them. So if for whatever reason something happens and you got great people on your team, but you're not using them because you think that you might be bothering them, or you don't want to overwork them, or whatever it is, whatever assumption you might have made in your mind, it can start to create some challenges, because now those talented people, their attention and their energy can get pulled in a different direction. They can start to question their contributions, or should they even be in this position? So that part is important. It's just as important as getting them in the right place. It's like, give them the power. Be clear about, hey, I like where you're going, but I don't think you got what it takes to get us to that next level just yet. So this person is going to take the lead. And the wonderful thing that I like about that type of approach is there's no guessing game. It's like, oh, cool. Nick's got the lead on this one. All right, cool. Nick, what are we doing? Oh, okay. I got the lead on this one. Okay, Nick, so here's the plan. It's cool. It's like, I don't think anyone, especially, and that's what I'm saying, especially as we mature throughout the experience of business and just building something phenomenal, people curb their egos so that they can win. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. So yeah, I like that second piece. I think that's a critical element to it all. You got to trust those who you put in those positions, because it's like having a MJ on your team, but they're on a bench. It's like, makes no sense.
Oh, it's a fact. And I think that's the struggle with creators. Like, if you don't already have that really good sense of business, right, you're going to want to stay in the pocket of creating. And it is hard to trust with the CEO part. Like, it is hard to trust with the business part. And so you kind of lack on the business part because you're staying such in the creator vibe. So everything's flowers and grand and, oh my God, you create the greatest thing, but how is revenue coming in? How are we scaling? Are you scaling? Yeah. Or is it just you? Like, if it's just you, what is the model that you're doing that will allow you to bring money into your life? If not, crazy. But then even at the end, she was like, yo, I even get to a point where I'm doing so much business stuff. I didn't create anything all year. Me personally would have a problem with that. There'd be no way I can't, but I think once again, that's why I'm in my unique situation where I'm like, I'm understanding the balance of business and creator, but I'm still so much on the creator side that I haven't super locked in on the business side just yet, right? Hence why I'm going through my little journey and I understand this. But it's a struggle. It's a struggle. So you're telling me I got to concentrate on the business side, which when I got into this, I got into this because I'm a creator. And I understand I have to make a business of this, but my first part is a creator. And so to switch it's probably a hot and cold vibe. It's like, okay, if I go into business, I'm going into business. Like, but then I'm not creating, but then I go into creators. Like, there has to be, and I love how she said that, the way to do that is to hire well. And
yeah, it's a
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's definitely a domino cycle. Like, it's one feeds the other. If you spend too much time in one bucket, you'll work yourself out of business. like you'll just run out. And I think it's for whichever comes easier for you, you'll probably lean on that one a little bit more. Like, I spent 2 years in the business, like, nah. And you'll come up with some very valid reasons why you can't do the other piece. It's like, no. It's just not my thing. I don't want to do it. I don't think it makes sense. Like, yeah, sure, it makes sense, but you need them. You need both.
Yes, sir, ma'am. I'm still going through that. I needed to rewatch that, okay? I needed to watch that with y'all because that's something I'm still going through. It's trying to find the balance of creator and CEO. So to rewatch that, I'm still in that journey, people. I'm still trying to figure it out because, like I said in the clip, if I'm not creating, that's just a bad vibe for me. Like, I can't necessarily see that. There has to be something. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a side project that never gets released. I still have to do something. So, shout out to the people who are in the comments talking about it as well. Now, we got to, of course, we can't talk about creators, CEOs, ownership without talking about Tyler Perry, right? We covered this really dope clip before about ownership that totally inspired me. And there's some other stuff. I can't wait till EYL comes out with that Tyler Perry speech that they had with InvestFest. I hope they come out with that soon. But if not, we still got this. And let's have a conversation in the chat. Okay?
You're going to have to say no to your idols. Let me just put it that way.
You're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
Let's get into, I really like this one. So we, of course, in this podcast have spoken about ownership time and time again, because we fully, really encourage it and do it ourselves, and want to educate people on the importance of it. But this time, we have Tyler Perry, not the actual, like, he's here with us, but like, we have Tyler Perry
you ready
here.
to go?
We have Tyler Perry here. No, we have a clip from an interview from Killer Mike's, I believe, podcast or show or whatever it is, of him talking about ownership. And it was definitely something I wanted to talk about for sure. So let's get into the clip.
Starting a business or working for someone else, ownership will dictate everything. What decision you make, how you make it. So my main focus was ownership, and I tell you, if ownership is the roots of the tree, everything else was the trunk and the branches and all the other stuff and the leaves that change and fall. It all came from that. So what I'm experiencing is living from the decisions of making sure that I owned every play, every movie, everything, every television show, so that I could be in a position where I could help change an economy. So that was my purpose here. It's just ownership.
Well,
Moose, they said business, so I gotta dish it to you real quick.
It's major, man. I think anytime the conversation of ownership always comes up, I think it's, do you want it now? Or are you willing to wait? Right? Like, I think that when you can't have ownership without putting in a little bit of time mixed into it, right? Because I think that's the big thing where, for those who are familiar with Tyler's story a little bit, is he talks about those like grueling days in the beginning. And again, I'm not promoting the struggle, because I think to some extent we've made things, we've glorified the difficult and the challenge and the grind, that while some of it is true, maybe even a lot of that is true, I think it's misled people, because some people jump ship too early if it's not difficult. They're like, oh, no, it can't be that easy. I'm out. So you abort the ship on something that would have been successful for you had you just stayed away. So I don't want to necessarily promote or glorify the struggle, but I do want to say that when it comes to ownership, especially at that level, it is going to take time, because it's making it one of your like mission statements or your value statements. Like, it's got to be something that you believe in so much so that as you go into every new deal and every new opportunity, and someone who's like even stretching their hand back and willing to pull you up because they might be the bigger platform at the time or the bigger business at the time, it takes a lot of discipline to say, nope, I'm still going to negotiate the deal in a way that even if I have to take a little less, it might take me a little longer. It may not work out to my favor, because I want to maintain ownership. So I love that he puts it that way, because, he's showing you the stretch of his history. But I think what we're not seeing is the discipline that goes into it, right? To continue to say no, even when it's like, man, that's so tempting. Yo, to work with so-and-so, oh man, I would love to. All right, you know what? Even, because think about it, like, you're gonna have to say no to your idols. Let me just put it that way.
You're not gonna speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
Let me just put it that way, because I don't know that there's any other way to put it. Like, I guess I was trying to like beat around the bush. I was trying to beat around the bush. My bad, y'all. Here it is. You can't have ownership if you're not gonna say no to your idols.
Isaiah, clip that up. Clip.
That's
gonna pass. That's gonna pass by somebody. That's so gonna pass by somebody. Man.
Yeah. I think it's gonna take a few, but it's true, because that means that you're in a position to grow something successfully, that it gets the attention of maybe some people that you look up to.
Yep.
And they're gonna come in and say, hey, let's make this happen. Let's partner, or let me actually buy that from you. And you gotta have the discipline to say no to your idols, because ownership is such a high value to you. All right. So you can't have ownership if you're not willing to say no to your idols. That's tough. That's easier said than done, for real. Yeah.
I can end it right there, but I'm not. But I can end it right. God, that was really good. How am I supposed to go back? All right.
That's crazy. It just came to me. I was like, "Yeah, what am I trying to say?" Oh, that's what you're trying to say. Just say that.
Oh my God, that was so good.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna trump that. Okay, I'm not gonna. No pun intended. But I'm not gonna go over that one. I'm gonna give it a different perspective of ownership provides opportunities, and I'm gonna say it like this. So, man. Okay, so I'm gonna get transparent because it's me, right? A little bit. This is gonna be hard. Okay, so
tell them.
This will be hard. So, without saying all the names, right? Without saying all the names, I'll say one of the names. Here we go. So, Isaiah was helping me, and I love you, Isaiah. So. This is going to be a great lesson. Isaiah was helping me in a particular project for, I think, over a year, right? And it was more like he wanted to prove that he can do it, right? And it was proven. It was cool. And in the project that I was in, I did not have control, because I didn't own it, of being able to compensate him in his just way, or at all at a point, right? Mm-hmm. To the point where he was like, yo, I got to be gone. Like, wow. I can't, right? And it killed me, because I'm like, if it was up to me, I can do this, right? And finally, with a lot of yo, we got to do this. We got to do this. We got to make this right. It worked out, but then now it's on a whole new level of, if he does anything for me, it comes with pay, because I've gotten to the point where there's a part of ownership that I have that, if I'm requesting it, it's coming from my company, not necessarily anybody else's. Anybody who necessarily needs anything from Isaiah has to come through here, and I pay, right? And so when Tyler Perry said pretty much, it's bigger than just saying, yo, I own this, and things like that. You're providing opportunity for other people, instead of, the same kind of situation where you want to make things right and you want to make things just, and you can't, because it's not yours. You don't have a lot, you may have a lot of say based off maybe the direction, but there's still some limitation that you're going to have, because it's not your company. You can have a high position on a 9-to-5. It's still not your company. You may have a seat at the table with a collaboration. It's still not your situation. you know? And how he said it in the clip was like, yo, I own, the plays. I own this. I own the land. I own everything. So when I'm able to want something, I have full control of who's part of it and who gains access to it and who gets compensated and who doesn't. That's a different feeling, to make things right and be fair in an environment where majority don't get paid fair. In an environment where you normally have to get paid less than your worth. And if you want that to change for yourself, you have to own something and provide that for others. And it's like, I think that's why this particular one hit a little bit for me, because we look at ownership as just that, okay, I can make way more money than the 10%. I have 100% here, I have 10% here, right? I always have to break half of it over here, or, for my kids or for legacy reasons, ownership could get passed on. And I'm like, ownership provides opportunities. Ownership gives, whether it's exposure, whether it is finances, whether it is mental, spiritual kind of vibes. Like, ownership provides opportunities that you couldn't do for anybody else by working with somebody else or for somebody else. And so if you haven't considered ownership in some way, shape, or form, for whatever reason, in 2022, I highly suggest it. Not for just yourself, but for the opportunities that you could provide others. And so the cycle doesn't continue to go on, that you are literally the change based off what you own. So,
Wow.
Man, I still feel all caught up in that story because it was a real situation, and I meant everything that I said. As you saw on the screen, it all worked out. Shout out to Isaiah. But it was a big lesson, even now, kind of just looking back at, there's certain things that I still don't feel that is right. And the only way that I can make it right is by owning and changing the environment within what I can control, right? So there's big changes that's going to be happening with Deeper Than the Brand, and positioning certain people that weren't able to get certain positions before, or certain looks from before, and having a platform that is more of a collective than just one, right? And so I couldn't be able to do that or provide any of that. And it's going to be a slow progress, but at least it's going in the right direction, right? I couldn't do that if I was to stay kind of just in the background or stay within the position that I was in before. And so there's a level of control that I have now. There's a level of, opportunity that I see clearer than maybe before, where I was limited and restricted with certain things. So yes, we can talk all about ownership from a standpoint of, from pay to, legacy and things like that. For me, it's about creating change. And so that was very, very huge to me. But just like the creator's journey said, make sure you like this and drop some lions. You feel me? Shout out to Moose. Always love you, buddy. Can't wait till the next live show to see you. But we're gonna go. I did 3 clips. I don't want to overwhelm you. I just wanted to take you back into time a little bit, get your mind going, get you thinking about certain things. And if you like this, we may do more of these where we just kind of bring back a certain theme and kind of just talk it out from that standpoint instead of, because we drop a lot of episodes, people. We're at 105. I don't know if you remember all these lessons. So I think once in a while we're going to do these compilations, kind of break it down. Either maybe Moose could do the next one, I'll do the next one, whatever it is. I just appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Definitely check the audio experience of 105, but the video will be dropping tomorrow on YouTube at 8 p.m. Eastern, and the after show, which I'm not going to lie, if you heard the audio, you know where I'm going with this as far as the after show, where we talked about more about team. So today's episode was called the Untold Story of Building a Brand. This is going to be the untold story of building a team, because I had 2 different perspectives. I got a little hype. I did. I ain't going to lie. I got a little hype. And yeah, yummy. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Until next week, you already know what I'm going to say.